Hello friends, welcome to the new session, and today we'll be learning about general physiology. In general physiology there are few topics which are of utmost important which we need to study. Let us first list down those topics which we are going to cover in the series of the sessions henceforth. So the general physiology forms the very first chapter in the physiology. It is the basics of physiology which helps you to understand all the other systemic physiology. So whenever you study this chapter, keep in mind that you will require this information throughout the learning of physiology and other allied subjects. What are the topics we are going to cover in general physiology? First of all, we will be learning about homeostasis. Homeostasis is the first chapter or topic we will be learning in general physiology. Next to homeostasis, we will be learning the certain properties of cell membrane. Certain properties of cell membrane. Why do we need to study cell membrane? Because next to cell membrane, we will be understanding the second most important topic, and that is transport across cell membrane. Transport across cell membrane. And after transport across cell membrane, we will be learning the one of the topic which is quite an important for exam point of view, and that is the body fluid compartments. Body fluid compartments. And next to body fluid compartments, we will be learning membrane potentials. We will be learning membrane potentials, where we will study about resting membrane potentials and other potentials like action potentials and graded potentials. So these are the topics we will be covering in general physiology. I repeat, we will be learning homeostasis, then we will be continuing with cell membrane and its properties, which will be helpful to us to understand the next topic, that is transport across cell membrane. Then we will be learning body fluid compartments, and also will be learning about membrane potentials. Membrane potentials will include the topics like resting membrane potential, action potentials, and other allied topics related to membrane potentials. So let us first begin with the very first chapter, that is homeostasis. What is homeostasis? All of us have studied this topic quite many times, but let us have few more insight about homeostasis. First of all, the definition. There are many definitions which are given, but the one of the most simplest one for homeostasis which I always use is homeostasis is maintenance of constant internal environment. Homeostasis simply means the maintenance of constant internal environment. Internal environment is maintained at constant or near constant level, or normal or near normal level. Now what does it mean? Let us have a few explanation about this. Constant internal environment means our body is considered a system, and this system has an environment. The environment is our extracellular fluid. The homeostasis tries to maintain all the parameters of ECF under normal level. That's what homeostasis means. Let us see, for example, temperature. Our body tries to maintain a temperature at normal or near normal level, that is 37 degrees centigrade. Or else you can say blood pressure. We try to maintain blood pressure at 120 by 80 mm of Hg. We try to maintain the glucose level at normal level at about 100 milligram per deciliter. We try to maintain the hormones. So all these parameters, pH, electrolytes, salts, minerals, hormones, glucose, all these things are maintained at normal or near normal level, and they are maintained in ECF, that is extracellular fluid. The ECF becomes the internal environment, and this internal environment is for the cells which survive in this ECF. So if the ECF parameters are maintained at normal level, I repeat, if the ECF parameters are maintained at normal level, then it is helpful for the cell to survive. And if the cell survives, the tissue survives. And the tissue survives, the organ survives, and the organ system survives, and the human being, that is the organism, survives. So ECF is the internal environment, and homeostasis maintains all these parameters in this environment at a normal or near normal level. Okay, so let us go with the first of all an example, and who have gave this term homeostasis. The first examples of homeostasis, or you can say the parameters which are maintained at a normal level, is pH. We try to maintain pH at normal level, which is almost 7.4. So we try to maintain a pH of 7.4, and that is the internal environment, that is ECF. We try to maintain the normalcy of glucose, so glucose balance. We try to maintain glucose balance. Then we try to maintain the electrolytes, salts, for example, sodium, chlorine, potassium. We try to maintain them at the very, very normal and near normal level. Electrolytes. Then water, the volume itself. If we drink too much of water, we feel like to go to urination. If we drink very less water, we feel thirsty. That means there are signals which gives us the understanding that something is missing, or we have something which is decreasing or increasing, and we try to bring it back to normal. So there's too much of water, we release extra water by urine process. If there is too much of less in the water content, then we feel thirsty and we consume water, and the water level come back to normal again. So there are some of very few examples of homeostasis. Blood pressure, temperature, of course, are some of the very excellent examples of homeostasis. Now, who have given the term homeostasis? Remember, the term and the definition for homeostasis, there are two different discoveries. The term is given by another scientist, and the concept is given by another scientist. What came first, the definition or the term? Remember, the definition of homeostasis, that is explanation, is the first one to be discovered. And that definition of homeostasis, that is maintenance of constant internal environment, is given by a very eminent scientist, Claude Bernard. Sir Claude Bernard has given the definition or the concept of homeostasis. So Claude Bernard has given the concept of homeostasis. Then who has given the term? Remember, the concept came earlier, and then the term was discovered or the given. Otherwise, what happens generally, whenever we see for any discovery, we always have term and concept coming at the same time. A scientist gives a term and then he explains that term. But in homeostasis, the concept was the first discovery, that is concept was given quite earlier, and later on, after almost 50 years, the term homeostasis has been given. So the term homeostasis is given by a scientist, Walter Cannon. I repeat, the term is given by Walter Cannon, which is in the later part. So Walter Cannon has given the term of homeostasis, whereas concept of homeostasis was given by Claude Bernard. Now let us just revise what we have done. Homeostasis is very simply the maintenance of constant internal environment, or try to maintain the internal environment at normal or near normal level. For example, we try to maintain temperature at 37 degrees centigrade. We try to maintain blood pressure at 120 by 80 mm of Hg. We try to maintain the pH at 7.4. We try to maintain the levels of electrolytes at normal and near normal level. So all these parameters, all these things which are maintained at normal and near normal level, they are absolutely in homeostasis. That's the explanation. What is the homeostasis in our body? The ECF, the extracellular fluid compartment in our body, is the homeostasis. Now that ECF comprises of the fluid which is surrounding the cells. and blood, that is plasma. So if the ECF environment is maintained at normal level, it is helpful for the cell to survive. And when the cell survives, the cell, they form a tissue, an organ system. So at cellular level, if the cell survive, at tissue level the tissue survives, at organs the organ survive, organ system survives, and the organism survive. So all these things are maintained at normal level to keep the organism in healthy condition. Any parameter gets deranged leads to pathology. So that's why the understanding of homeostasis becomes very important. If you know what is normal, then you will be able to understand what is abnormal or what is disease. So when there is a disease, it means homeostasis has failed. So failure of homeostasis means there is a disease, there is pathology, and then you try to treat that condition by the knowledge of medicine. So that's how it is all correlated. So from homeostasis till medicine, everything is correlated. So homeostasis is ECF, all the parameters are maintained at normal level. If you know what is normal, you can understand what is abnormal.